everyone, it's the ArtzDeeva, back for another artist vlog. Thank you so much for the response to the last vlog. It was more than I expected. Somebody in the last video asked if I could do a review on wrist braces. I thought I'd just discuss the braces that I've had and that I've experienced myself. Now this one that I'm wearing, and normally I would wear both, but this arm is actually feeling okay. This one, I could not find the brand. I swear, I looked all over like Walgreens, Walmart, all that stuff, but all I know is that this kind of brand came from Walgreens, and it's got this, I don't know if it's purple M or W there, but it's probably the best wrist brace I've had. I think it takes a lot of experimentation finding one that fits well and eases some of that pain for you, but I think basically any wrist brace that has a splint right up the middle here, because that's what mine has, and it goes a little bit into the hand, any that has a splint right up the center is going to give you that maximum relief for the carpal tunnel, because it goes right up the center of your wrist, and the whole point is that it's compressed, and by wearing this, it helps to kind of open that up a little bit and release some of the tension. I was given this one wrist brace here. This was when I was first diagnosed with carpal tunnel, and this is a right hand one. It kind of hooks around on the thumb like that. You just kind of wrap it around. It's a little bit complicated. This one I did not like at all because first off, it was too small. Like, I know I have small hands, but it's very important to make sure that the wrist brace is comfortable and isn't too small for your hand, because I was advised to wear this overnight, and overnight my poor hand swelled pretty badly. So that's another thing. Make sure the size is good for your wrist so that it's not too tight, but also, you know, not too big so that you can't get any relief. So this one didn't work. The interesting thing is, in my recent trips to physical therapy this week, we're actually kind of targeting the elbows because I had a bit of a moment of clarity with my pain. There's a lot of nerve compression going on in the elbows, because it's not just, at least for me, it's not just in the wrist, because with the warehouse job I was working, it was a lot of repetitive motion that involved both the wrists and the elbows. Sometimes the pain from the wrist may actually be a lot of stuff coming from the elbow. Of course, you want to check with your doctor about this before, you know, you just start making judgments about that. And again, like, I'm no doctor, so I'm just going off of the experiences that I've had and the ongoing experiences that I'm having with physical therapy. One thing they may give you is this tennis elbow strap. It's kind of okay, and for most people it works. But I found, especially when I was wearing this during some of the last few weeks at my warehouse job, it just wasn't quite doing the trick. One thing that did work is it's more of an elbow compression sleeve. This was from Walgreens, and it kind of looks like this, and you just kind of pull it on like that. As you can see, there are these gel packs that are kind of embedded in there that hit the nerves and everything to try and ease the tension, and then you just wrap it around and then attach it like that. Velcro is very sticky though, so you'll have a hard time detaching it, but this brings a lot of comfort to the elbows, although I would probably be cautious about wearing these overnight. But anyway, that's kind of my experience. That's a little bit of extra stuff to talk about on the matter. But anyway, this vlog isn't just to go on and on about carpal tunnel and artist injuries, because this week, unless I jinx myself again, I'm actually starting to feel better. With that in mind, I'm looking at possibly maybe within the next week or so being able to start really getting back into artistry, and maybe even starting to make more content actually featuring, you know, real art and not just me talking in front of the camera on this channel. I don't have quite a schedule yet. I've been meaning to really get going on this channel for quite a while, and now that I'm in this position where I'm starting to create content even with this pain, parts of the whole plan are still in flux and some of it is all good to go. But I'm thinking I'll probably just keep doing these vlogs, you know, once a week, Sundays like today, probably working with some speed draws and speed paints. I'm thinking at least once a month in between all of these kinds of things. You know, animation and animatics are fun, but they do take a lot of time. Probably thinking of giving myself like that whole month, and then probably on the last weekend of that month releasing whether it's a new animation or a little animatic that I want to work on. I'll probably drop it then. So yeah, just that's kind of the loose schedule for now. Just vlogs every Sunday, speed draws and speed paints kind of in between, and then kind of one big thing at the end of the month. Again, we'll have to play by ear because school is coming up again. I'm about to enter into a new job, so I have no idea how busy I'm going to be in between all of this. So I might have to adjust my schedule, but nonetheless, I still want to be creating content now, especially as I start getting better with my hands and my arms. So that's kind of a loose idea of what you can kind of anticipate. The last thing I want to end this video out on, something to kind of whet your anticipation and get you all excited for content, is the list that I talked about in the other vlog, where I talked about keeping a list of ideas of things to draw and do once you get better from whatever artist injury you have. And I just thought, you know, it would be a cool thing to end this video out on, and just a neat little thing to share with all of you to give you a taste of what's to come. So here's a preview of the list. Okay, so this is the notebook that I've been keeping all of my ideas in while I'm recovering from carpal tunnel syndrome. So let's take a look, shall we? So the Polaroid's the number one thing here. I won't go by each one individually, don't worry. But the Polaroid's one I wanted to address because it's an interesting thing. If anyone here is into writing, and if they've read Anne Lamott's Bird by Bird, one of my favorite books on writing, she talks about capturing Polaroids, which are basically just story scenes. You might not understand at the time what purpose they'll have in your story or if they'll even fit in, but it's just like capturing that moment and then seeing how it plays out. And being a very story-based kind of artist, I've had lots of Polaroids swimming around in my head, but I've never really taken the time to draw them out or anything. So Polaroids is one of the things I definitely want to work on when I get better. Character design challenges, gestures, all that good stuff. Drawing animals. I've never ever enjoyed drawing animals. Learning manga, for sure. I know I tried many years ago, but it just never quite worked out. I want to get better with drawing manga, especially since I've got some projects in the works that require me to draw in a manga style. Sketchbook tours, they've been one of my favorite things to watch as I've been out for the count with carpal tunnel, and I want to do my own sketchbook tours. I'm terrible at finishing sketchbooks, but I do have one finished one, and if anything, this would inspire me to finish all the rest that I have. Draw Connor from Detroit Become Human because he's amazing. I've got a lot of like comic art I want to get back to, because when I was a little kid, I used to make my own comics. They weren't any good, they were embarrassing to look at, but I was so proud of cranking out like several comics within a week sometimes. And you know, I miss that kind of process of creating a world and characters and just following them where they go. So yeah, I just want to get back into that kind of thing. Music-inspired visuals, yes, because I really love music. And sometimes I just want to draw what the music, you know, makes me think of, or sometimes I want to draw the bands, because sometimes they're pretty cool. I want to do more fan art, because I love so many different shows, movies, books, all those kinds of things, and I've hardly ever drawn anything for them, so just want to do something like that. Hand studies, gun studies, because I'm terrible at those. I want to illustrate and actually animate some of my dreams. I think those would be very fun to put on the channel, and don't worry, I've never really had any like R-rated kinds of dreams, so you're in good hands here. My friend has been getting me into Avatar: The Last Airbender. Finally, I'm always late to these things, but I just love it so much. I want to make fan art for it. Oh, there's a project here. Some of you might hate me for it in the end, but just wait for it. Bad fanfic readings. There's nothing I love more, being the trashy person that I am, than bad fanfiction, and I would love to make hilarious cartoons and animations, dude, especially My Immortal. God, I love that piece of crap. I've been watching a lot of Exploring with Josh. I love his videos and I love his channel. And I want to, like, do a bunch of drawings of the places he's been and maybe even him and his friends, because that would be cool. I think I wrote some of these things twice, so some of the doodles I've been attempting to draw, getting back into health. Drawing YouTubers, yes, because they are good caricature practice. Homemade graphics. I'm not a graphic designer, I am not studying graphic design, but I do have a big appreciation for it, and I really want to create kind of an all-around sort of general graphic design portfolio kind of thing. I at the very least would like to make graphics for like t-shirts and stuff like that, so I want to explore doing more graphic design based works, maybe even sharing some of that with you, turning it into t-shirts we can order, we'll see. My Immortal again. Story mapping sessions, I don't know if I'll put those up on here, depending upon how top secret these projects are, because like I told you, I got a lot of concepts in my head, but some of them have to stay secret. Forest of Drizzling Rain, I love that RPG maker game. I don't think it gets enough love, and I want to do a lot of drawings for it. Detailed pieces of characters and environments, yes, indeed, because I love drawing characters, and I would like to get better with environments. I started getting better with them. If you saw in my chess mid-progress video, I did a lot of London architecture, and that was fun. But I want to kind of blend the two together so I can start getting better with more detailed pieces. Complete sketchbooks. Redraw old art. Yes, I have a lot of old art, even dating back to when I was a teeny-weeny toddler that I can pull out, and it'll be very interesting to see what we can do compared to the art that I did several years ago, or even maybe 1 year ago. More exaggerated forms and faces, yes, because even though I love creating caricatures, sometimes I feel like I stick too close to the rules, and I try too hard to still make them somewhat realistic even though they're not. So I think if I just stretch myself a little bit, then maybe my character designs will get better, faster and easier to draw, and just a lot more fluid. Let's see, anything else? There's a lot else. Revisit the Plucker. There's a book, a wonderful book, made by a graphic designer and writer, Brom, called The Plucker. It's actually up on my nerd shrine behind me, and I actually made an animatic. It's a really old video on this channel. I can link it in the description, but I love the book so much, and it is my dream to actually turn it into an animated movie in the future, so I would like to get back to that. Chronicles of Narnia, they were my childhood, along with Harry Potter, and I need to draw more art for it. MBTI drawings. If anyone is not familiar with MBTI, it is just a personality type kind of thing, and I'm very fascinated by personality type stuff. And I just kind of want to make drawings and cartoons that people can relate to, of all different types. Mastering L, yes, because I love L from Death Note and he is wonderful, but I am absolute crap at drawing him. Alice in Wonderland, I've made some kinds of pieces with original designs of my own in the past, especially for some schoolwork. And I'd kind of like to get back into that again. I'd like to work with secret pages, because I have a sketchbook, which I'll show later, from a concept design class I took, and I explored so much making secret pages. I wasn't even prompted by the teacher or anything. I just made my own in this sketchbook for one entry, and oh, it was so good. But I want to make more of those. I'm a big fan of the Left 4 Dead series, and I would like to make art on those two games. Practicing folds in clothing and fabric is something I desperately need to work on. Fairy tale illustrations, yes, because those are good. Pitch Black from Rise of the Guardians. Oh my gosh. I'll talk about that later. And lastly, we're almost to the end. The Batman and the Rogues Gallery. It's probably one of my favorite things ever. I love Batman so much, but sometimes I love him even more for the wide, colorful cast of villains he has. And I love drawing all of them. I love Harley Quinn, Joker, Riddler, all those kinds of villains. But yeah, that's just kind of a general list of things that I want to get better at and work on as I recover from carpal tunnel syndrome. And as you can tell, there's a lot. There's at least like 100, sorry if my voice changed, at least 100 ideas that I've written down in there. I've had a lot of time to think about what I really want to draw. Yeah, that just kind of gives you a bit of a general idea of what I'll be working on in the future, along with other things that I'll talk about later. That's all for today, and I'll see you in the next video. ArtzDeeva over and out.